Assalamualaikum and a very good evening. Okay, my name is MUHAIMINUDIN bin KHADARI and I want to present my persuasive speech which title is Small classes are better than big classes. They said size does not matter, but it does matter when it comes to the size of the classes of your child. But the question is how? How do they actually affect the quality of education your child is receiving? Most of us are probably know about the uproar when it comes to the sizes of your child's class, which maybe are increased in a little. Try to avoid having to increase the budget enough to add a new teacher in a public school system. You possibly know that the schools with small size of classes are preferable to schools which have large size of classes. But what really is it about small size classes that are so outstanding? And why? And why do you want that school with a small size of class for your kid? There are various benefits of having a small size of the class that you should evaluate carefully. So, for the first one is classes that are small in size tend to pay more one-on-one attention from teacher to student than the classes which are bigger in size. Okay, so then let's admit it. Teachers are exhausted from their work. They might not be able to pay nearly enough attention to each child for the cows that they deal with on a daily basis, and they frequently end up taking their work home with them in the form of papers, maybe which need to be graded or the lessons which needs to be planned. With smaller class sizes, teachers can get to know each student as an individual, working with them to enhance their strengths and improve their weaknesses. Teachers love smaller classes. Teachers love smaller class sizes because they often facilitate, facilitate better discussions and activities. They also prefer smaller class sizes because fewer students means more opportunity to observe students and provide extra assistance where needed. Students get to know each other better instead of your student just being another face in a hard crowd. They'll be more likely to develop deep and lasting relationships with the other students around them. For example, if your child has a question which they did not understand in class about the homework, he will be more likely to understand that he needs to call for quick help. So for the next point is, okay, teachers can tailor instruction more individually. It's often said that teachers have to teach to the lower middle of the class. Anyone below that level has to fend for themselves, often being left behind in the shuffle, and anyone above it spends most of the class period daydreaming while they wait for everyone else to finish learning a concept they figure out 10 minutes into the lesson. No matter which end of the extreme your student falls on, in a small class, the teacher is more likely to be able to tailor the instruction so that it stays on their level. With fewer students, the top students and the bottom students in the class usually are not quite so far apart, and the teacher can work with each of them to ensure that they are getting the instruction that they need. So for the my point number 4 is, in a big size class, there will be more students and the more child, the more disturbance. But it is not the same for small size classes. If there are fewer students in compared to big size classes, there will be less disruption for some apparent reasons. Teacher skills do not really matter when there are 35 students with their ongoing chaos in the classroom. There are going to be disruptions. Worse, a classroom that large, personally conflicts are more likely to occur in extremes. Discipline begins to take up more of the class period than actual instructions. In a classroom with fewer students, discipline is needed far less often. So for the next point, there's more time for instruction. The more the number of students in the classroom grows, the more time has to be used up each day on administrative tasks. Simply taking attendance takes twice as long with a large class than a small one, even mid-year. Once the teacher knows all the students and can glance up and look for them instead of having to call out their names one by one, they still have to look over a lot more pressure for a missing child. Passing out papers becomes a monumental task. That's entirely aside from the grading process. When teachers in a rush to get through a hard stack of papers are less likely to give individual feedback and more likely to simply give the grade and a quick comment or two. So for my next point, they are quieter. So even when even when everyone in the classroom is extremely well behaved, 30 plus bodies in a classroom is noisy. There's a constant rustling of papers, sniffing noises, students shifting in their seats. For a student with attention issues, those small distractions can be the difference between a lesson that's understood completely and one that they don't understand at all. And last but not least, for a student who has problems with concentration or has attention issues, size of the class matters a lot. Conversely, smaller classroom sizes help the cogs the best out of students who otherwise prefer to hide among their peers in a larger classroom. This environment this environment can have a detrimental effect on grades due to a lack of participation, but also on student self-esteem, which can continue through college and beyond. Also can make the class more better from day by day. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.